Hello there, Senators. There is a huge Star Wars update today that I want to share with you guys. It's possible that the creator of Star Wars himself, George Lucas, could be returning for the new Jedi Order Rey sequel movie, trilogy, whatever you want to call it. There's a Screen Rant article out there. Let's just dig into the article and see what's going on. The article says Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, director of the upcoming movie Star Wars New Jedi Order, recently spoke about her entry to Star Wars and gave some hints about Rey Skywalker's return to the screen. There are very few confirmed details about New Jedi Order at this point, other than the fact it has been confirmed and is one of several upcoming Star Wars movies. Most of the recent news surrounding New Jedi Order has been about its release date, as The Mandalorian and Grogu took its place as the next of Lucasfilm's scheduled releases. Obaid Chinoy's comments, however, have finally given a glimpse into the story of the New Jedi Order. So here's where it begins talking about George. While speaking with Starz Sirius XM 109, Obaid Chinoy hinted that Rey would begin her own Jedi Academy, and she mentioned that she had spoken with George Lucas about New Jedi Order. At the heart of it, for me, is Rey Skywalker, is Daisy Ridley in her story and taking her on an adventure to a Jedi Academy and sort of creating a world that is a natural dovetail to the story we've seen her go through the last 3 episodes. I've had conversations with J.J. Abrams, and I've had conversations with George Lucas and, of course, Dave Filoni, who's a big part of the Star Wars universe now. We speak very often. So that in of itself is pretty cool. I mean, the fact that she is bringing in George Lucas to it seems like to consult on the movie is fascinating in of itself. Now, I will say we don't know. I mean, based on the article, we don't know how much he's involved. Was it a 5-minute conversation? Was it an hour-long conversation? Has she been talking? She said she's had conversations, so it sounds like it's been more than one conversations. We don't know the extent to what George and what his involvement looks like, but the fact that they're bringing George in on this is really cool. It goes on to say the two biggest reveals from Obaid Chinoy's interview that Rey was on an adventure to a Jedi Academy and that Obaid Chinoy had spoken with George Lucas and other prominent creators at Lucasfilm are huge developments. A few times Obaid Chinoy has spoken publicly about New Jedi Order, and the fact that she's willing to divulge some story details is an extremely promising sign. So it sounds like, there's been a lot of concern that this movie won't even take place, that it's just going to fall off like other Star Wars projects, especially movies have over the past couple years. It seems like this one's full steam ahead. When the movie's coming out, we don't know. May talk about that in the article somewhere here. I mean, yeah, it goes on to say that George Lucas and other creatives at Lucasfilm has yet a very encouraging sign for New Jedi Order. It's a sign that the upcoming Star Wars movie is going to be a collaborative effort, and the entire company is working together to make it as good as possible. So that is really encouraging, given all the drama and the controversy surrounding Acolyte right now. I think it's a really promising sign that whoever's initiating that, whether it be Obaid Chinoy or Dave Filoni or Kathleen Kennedy, whoever it is, if this is true, and it seems like it is true, it's really encouraging that they're bringing all hands on deck, essentially, including the creator of Star Wars himself, George Lucas. And I think that will be really good for the fandom. There's always those people out there that are the direction Star Wars is going and keeping George Lucas's legacy. Well, if George Lucas is involved with the film in some capacity, like they're saying, we can assume that if his 2 cents is being listened to and his advice is being listened to, that this movie could, in a from a certain point of view, be a continuation of the story that he wanted to tell. There's been a lot of rumors and speculation that the New Jedi Order movie is going to be episode 10. My opinion on it, I hope this is not episode 10. I really think, given all of the mixed feelings regarding the sequel trilogy and this being what looks to be in a continuation of the sequel trilogy, that they just make this movie, try to make it as good as possible, bring in Dave, bring in George, get as many Star Wars creatives who know Star Wars as possible in on this to make a solid movie. And then, depending on how the fans receive it, we can go from there and figure out if this is going to be a new Star Wars trilogy. Like I said, as far as what this is going to be about, the article doesn't really say. Obviously, we knew this was probably going to be the case. Rey is going to be building her own Jedi Order. We don't know exactly if she's going to be, we don't really know anything. We don't know who the villain's going to be. We don't know who's going to be involved at this point. I've long speculated that I really hope we can see Ahsoka Tano. I think it would be really cool to bring her character in. Dave Filoni himself has teased the fact that Ahsoka may not be dead at the end of The Rise of Skywalker episode 9 when we hear her voice, and I believe to be the world between worlds. I've long speculated that maybe Ahsoka could be the protector of the world between worlds. Even Anakin I'm thinking now as he's ascended to the place of a celestial, it would seem, has taken the place of the father of Mortis, that he could be a protector of the world between worlds. So I'm not saying that they need to bring them and make them a major part of the movie, although I wouldn't complain. But we have the possibility, I think, to still see characters like Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost, Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka, and bring in some of those legacy characters. Depending on how far they want this to be, I think it says supposed to be taking place 15 years after the rise of Skywalker. I don't know if characters like Ezra Bridger, or trying to think of who else, probably not the Mandalorian. Obviously, we could probably see Grogu. At the heart of it, I think that as long as they're bringing in George Lucas, and it appears that they are, and they make the best Star Wars movie they can, hold off on calling it Episode 10, seeing how the fans receive it. It could be huge. So if you don't mind, if you're new here, hitting that subscribe button, it would really help me out. And look into becoming a member. We have a lot of fun perks becoming a member. That also really helps out the channel. May the force be with you always.